Indiana Pacers wasted no time getting 2019 NBA champion, two-time NBA All-Star, and 2019 Most Improved Player in Pascal Siakam. I think it's safe to say Spicy P, as they call him, was a great pickup for the Indiana Pacers, who will face the defending NBA champion Denver Nuggets tonight. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
My thoughts on this matchup is really, what will the game look like when the Pacers now have Halliburton back, because he was out in the Nuggets' first matchup with the Pacers this season. And what will it look like now with Aaron Nesmith back, because he was out in the first matchup with the Nuggets. And now you add Pascal Siakam as another layer of a piece that the Pacers needed to kind of help them in the wing. What will that look like now? So this matchup for me is almost like a brand new matchup, because the first one, the Pacers were missing two of their pivotal people, and the one
Yeah.
most was Halliburton. So yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
a
Halliburton
new
with
matchup, and I can't wait to see it.
Halliburton with his 12 assists. You're talking about acclimating Pascal Siakam. I mean, hey, that's a good problem to have right now. I just hope he's
Yes,
back for this matchup. You want to talk about the last matchup they had against the Denver Nuggets? You talking about Obi Toppin, Jackson, and Benedict Mathurin really trying to chip in double figures off the bench to try to, take up some of that empty space they had offensively with Tyrese Halliburton out. They shot horrible from the 3-point range, 8 for 29. It's almost like, y'all gonna keep shooting them. Clearly, tonight is not your night behind the arc.
right,
Whereas you
right.
had the Denver Nuggets, they had their full complement of players. They're
Mhm.
NBA champions. All their starters were in double figures. Jokic
Right.
nearly had his regular old triple double, but they had no bench production at all. They only had Reggie Jackson. I think he chipped in 9 points, and Christian Braun chipped in 2 points. So when you talk about that, it was kind of lopsided from the beginning. You
It
know.
was, yeah, yeah. And then when we're talking about 3-point shooting, Aaron Neesmith, he shoots about 46% from three. So they were
Mm-hmm.
missing that piece. And Pascal Siakam can give you about 22 points per game.
Oh
So now that
yes.
he's there, right? So what I'm saying is that this particular matchup now, with the two players coming, hopefully being able to play, and then Pascal Siakam as an added addition, that just changes this matchup some, right? And so I think that the Nuggets will have to be prepared for a new game when they're up against the Pacers than they had previously. But I will say this: the Nuggets they're 1-0 in the series right now, and then they were 2-0 last season, where the Nuggets pretty much sunned the Pacers in 2023. So you know, here we are now. So I think I have a new lens on when I'm talking about when I'm looking at this game, because of the additional pieces I just talked about. So yeah.
Yep. Well, you think about the Indiana Pacers are one of the highest rated teams offensively in the NBA. Adding Pascal Siakam, does he add a level of defense? Because they need to play defense. I mean, teams score 140 points against the Pacers. It's just there's no defense being played. So
I
I'm
think it
wondering
will.
now with the injection of Siakam, does he change that at all?
It'll change it a little bit. Pascal Siakam is not the defensive juggernaut he was back in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. However, I still think he has a little bit more defensive gas in his system. So yes, I think it will add another layer, and hopefully that will catch on to the other Pacers on the roster, because I do believe they do need to up their defensive presence when we're talking about getting deep into the playoffs, getting deeper into the season, and most definitely into the playoffs. Offense is great, but defense, what I understand, wins championships. So we'll see.
Yeah. And I wonder, is that even part of Rick Carlisle's philosophy?
He,
Does he teach that? Because I remember when he was with the Dallas Mavericks, so he was coaching them. They didn't
oh,
play defense either. So he
no.
just might be offensive minded from the jump.
Okay, he's not defensive minded. Who on the assistant coaching staff is? Because somebody needs to be. Somebody needs to be.
hmm
When the rubber meets the road, and we're talking about a game 7, a game 6, if you guys make it that far, right? In round 2 semi conference finals, defense is gonna have to show up.
Should.
Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out, Pacers.
And we know the Denver Nuggets had Reggie Jackson and Christian Braun coming off of their bench, showed up big time in the playoffs last season. I mean, Brown was a rookie coming in, playing some key moments
Yeah.
during the playoffs. We know he's going to give it to the Nuggets easily. But when you talk about the Indiana Pacers, I see Benedict Mathurin being their
It's the
biggest
one.
asset.
He's the one.
Hmm.
Benedict Mathurin is the one that will be a game changer for the Pacers when we're talking about getting into the postseason. Him coming off the bench with his energy, his athleticism, and the fact that he can give you a double digit in points is going to be huge for the Pacers. Huge. And I like the fact that his youth is to his advantage. And so no.
Hmm.
That is for me their bench player that will make the biggest impact on any game that he plays in when he comes off the bench. Yes.
Yes.
I do have an honorable mention for a bench player off the Pacers, and that's going to be TJ McConnell. I like what he brings to the Pacers when Halliburton has to sit down, or even when Halliburton was out, for his,
Hmm.
I think it was a hamstring injury where Halliburton didn't play for a couple of weeks. I just like the fact that TJ, he's been in the league for about 8 seasons. He has some
Hmm.
experience. So he's crafty in that because he's played for some time. I do like that. So I think he's an honorable mention. I don't know if he will always give you the production that he, has done in the past, but it is enough to sustain while Halliburton is resting.
Yeah, and he's a little pesky defender too. He can
Yeah,
hit
yeah,
that three ball,
yeah,
which I really like.
yeah.
All right, so when it comes to the outcome of this game tonight, we know what we're up against. If the Pacers don't have Halliburton back, it's gonna be rough. But who do you have coming out of this game?
Nuggets. With all
Oh
that I
gosh.
said before, it's still the Nuggets for me. Yes. You?
Yeah, I'm going with the Nuggets too because they're trying to acclimate Siakam,
Yes.
right? The Pacers are trying to acclimate Siakam. Halliburton has to come back, figure out where Spicy P likes the ball and that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm going with the Nuggets as
Yeah.
well.
Me too.
All right, so let's look at the next 5 games for the Indiana Pacers. I see them at home against the Philadelphia 76ers and the Phoenix Suns. And then they finish up their homestand against the Memphis Grizzlies. Then they go on the road for the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. How do you think they'll do?
I have them winning 2, losing 3, and I have them winning to the Grizzlies and the Knicks, which is going to be a really tight game. Those are the 2.
Yeah,
What do you have?
that's what I have as well. The Memphis Grizzlies, though they don't have their stars right now, Jaren Jackson has taken a leap and he's put the team on his back. But I still
Yeah.
don't think, even with that,
No,
they can defeat the
yeah.
Indiana Pacers. So I have them going 2-3 on their stretch as well.
Yeah, yeah. And if I think about it, this is a pretty difficult schedule for them. You're thinking about the Sixers, the Suns, especially if Bill, Booker, and Katie plays from an offensive perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be pretty deep. And then Celtics, I mean, they're projected to be in the NBA Finals this season. So, yeah, that's going to
Mm-hmm.
be they have a difficult schedule in the next 5.